guys, my name is Zora Ali and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the various reasons why someone might want to pull out of a property purchase during their 5-day cooling off period. In my experience, there are generally two main reasons why someone would want to pull out during the cooling off period. The first reason is that they have been unable to obtain unconditional loan approval to facilitate completion of the purchase. So if you are unsure what unconditional loan approval is, I've got another video where I talk about that and talk about what the difference is between that and pre-approval. So if you're interested to know more about that, feel free to check out that video linked here somewhere on the screen. In my experience, one of the main reasons why people do actually pull out of the transaction during the cooling off period is because they've been unable to actually obtain unconditional loan approval. Generally, that can be, in my experience, because the valuation has actually come in under the purchase price. So basically what happens is you buy a property for a set price, an agreed price with the vendor, and then once you sign on the dotted line, you send the contract off to your bank. The bank then gets a valuer to go out and have a look at the property, and the valuer will make an assessment as to what the value of the property is. If the valuation amount comes under what you are paying for that property, there will be a shortfall which you will have to meet. What that means is you will need to have backup cash funds available to be able to complete the purchase, because the bank is not going to be able to lend you any more than a certain percentage of the valuation. So that's one of the main reasons why people pull out during the cooling off period, because they thought that they could buy the property based on their pre-approval, but when the valuation came in, it was actually painting a very different story. The second reason why a purchaser might actually pull out during the cooling off period is because they have been unable to obtain an extension. Now, the standard cooling off period under New South Wales, at least, is 5 business days. So, for example, if you sign the contract on Monday, your cooling off period starts the next day and it expires at 5 p.m. the following Monday. Now, it's very common to get that 5-day period extended, especially at the moment. Property is going absolutely insane in Australia, particularly in Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. So, as a result, the banks are inundated with loan applications and they are taking much longer than usual to process these. So it's actually very common for the cooling off period to be extended to 10 business days. The law only requires a 5 business day cooling off period to be granted though. So that means that if the vendor is for whatever reason not agreeable to extend that past the 5 days, or let's say they are happy to extend it to 10 days, but not to more than 10 days, and your bank has not completed your loan application and granted you unconditional loan approval in that time frame, you will need to request an extension. The law only requires a 5 business day cooling off period to be granted to you. Whether that is extended out to 10 days, 15 days, or more is really up to the vendor's discretion. In my experience, the vendors most of the time do agree to extend it out to 10 business days, sometimes even more, but at the end of the day, they're not under any obligation to. It's really up to their discretion. So that means that if your bank does not finalize the unconditional loan approval in the time frame that you've been given, you may be faced with having to make a decision, and that decision is, do you take the risk and make the contract unconditional and go past the cooling off period even though you don't have that unconditional loan approval? Or do you rule on the side of caution and pull out during the cooling off period, in which case you would have to rescind the contract? For more information on rescinding the contract and what's involved in that, check out my video where I talk about the appropriate, proper, formal process that you need to be following if you want to pull out during the cooling off period. In my experience, those are the two main reasons why a purchaser might wish to pull out during the cooling off period. Not being able to obtain unconditional loan approval, or not being able to obtain an extension of time to allow them to finalize their loan application. I release a lot of videos on property law and just things that interest me in general when it comes to the law and business. I actually own and operate my own law firm running in Western Sydney, Australia, and this video is kind of dedicated to content relating to the type of law that I do and also other interests that I have in general. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you could please like and subscribe. I will be releasing more and more content of this nature from now on to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comments function down below to give me your feedback. I will be responding to every single one of you. And yeah, thank you for your time and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.